Okay, Article number 2, Mrs. Helen Dunlap, the chairperson of the Community Preservation, moves that the town vote to appropriate a total of $907,000 from the Community Preservation Committee for Affordable Housing Reserve Account for the acquisition by purchase of $650,000 for the land described in Article number 2. It's exactly how it's described in the article, her motion. Is there any objection for me not reading the entire motion? We don't need a motion. There's no objection, correct? Is there a second to the motion? All those in favor of the motion is now on the floor. The Board of Selectmen's recommendation is an amendment. Do we have an amendment? We do have an amendment.
Moderator, I'll read it and hand it up to you. I have an amendment to offer on behalf of the Board of Selectmen. The Board of Selectmen is moving an amendment to the motion that's before you to add that the purchase of the land is contingent upon the permitting of 60 units on the parcel, and that further the appropriation within the article is increased by an additional $100,000 towards legal, engineering, permit fees, and the like related costs to determine that the number of units, 60 units, can be constructed on the parcel. And that's an amendment offered by the Board of Selectmen.
I point out that the Finance Committee's recommendation on the main motion is also one of approval. We're now on discussion as amended on the amendment. Does everybody understand the amendment? The main motion was submitted by Mrs. Dunlap to appropriate $907,000. The amendment offered by the Board of Selectmen was to put a contingency of 60 units and include $100,000 for the purpose of all of the engineering and that type of stuff for the land. Yeah.
Now, what's left for us as the Dracut Housing Authority is to get funding. But in order to get funding, we need to go to the federal government, who will provide us with most of our funding, and say, we have the land. We can't act in the abstract. We have to go to them and say, we have a piece of property. We need to build on that. We need the funding. Now, the election's tomorrow. The economy is going to change. It's going to look better for us to get the funding. Is there a guarantee? Well, we all know that there's only 2 guarantees in life, taxes and death. No, but do we have a much better chance, higher probability of getting the necessary funding? We certainly do if we have that land. And this land is perfect for the elderly. It is in a central location. It is on a bus line. It's near pharmacies. It's near the grocery stores. It's easily accessible. And even though we can't have this convenient layout as it is, maybe we don't have to do 230 units. I was at the meeting last week. Mr. Lanier explained to us that you could maybe do 30 flat units and 30 with 2 units, or 45. It can be distributed to make the units and to make it work. Nothing is going to go to waste. It is not going to be a waste of town money. The money has been set aside already. CPC has this money. You've already heard they've used the money for parks and open lands. The one thing they haven't used it for is affordable housing. 10% of CPCS funding has to go to affordable housing. We have the perfect piece of land, the perfect piece of property. We have a layout that is convenient and attractive and can be tweaked and modified a little bit. I urge you, ladies and gentlemen of the town of Dracut, to vote for the original proposal that was put towards the selectmen. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. Just to recap a little bit, we're going to vote on the amendment first. The amendment was to put a contingency that no less than 60 units and an additional $100,000 be appropriated for legal fees, engineering, and permit fees. So we're going to vote on that first. All those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. And those opposed? No. The amendment is defeated.